if it's legal. It's all under the Viva La Mort moniker. Great. What do I do? You want me to tell you my name?
Yo, who are you, bro?
My name's Erik. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
Welcome to Viva.
Viva.
Yeah. Happy to have you here.
Awesome.
What do you want to know? Ask me anything.
Yeah, so Viva La Mort. What is Viva La Mort?
Viva La Mort. It's me. Now, it started as just a T-shirt thing first. Come up with a name to make a T-shirt brand, and it's basically grown to encompass me. Everything that I do, design-wise, art-wise, if it's legal. It's all under the Viva La Mort moniker.
For people who don't know, what does Viva La Mort stand for?
For me, it's basically my version of a yin yang. So it means life and death, and it's one can't exist without the other. In Japanese, I explain it as hikari to kage, light and shadow.
And can you show us the bandana, which actually?
Oh, sure.
So you stand for this actual quote. What does the quote say?
This one up here.
Yeah.
It's funny. I printed this, so this one is right this way, and these kanjis are right this way because it's like a printed all the way through Chusen print. So this means Shogyo Mujyo, which means all things are in flux and nothing is constant, which is like the second thing I learned in Japanese after maybe Ichigo and Inu. Totally useless, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah. How'd you find out about that?
That saying.
Yes.
My ex-wife, she told me that. Yeah, when I met her in India, it was one of the things that she had mentioned. She had some other cool kind of poem thing that I always forget, but it's like something about flowing with the wind and drifting with the river and doing as you please. And it was kind of like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And it kind of just stuck. Yeah.
So you say that it encompasses yin and yang, your arts.
Mhm.
What do you exactly do?
All kinds of stuff. I get bored easily if I do the same thing all the time. So everything from logo design, graphic design, print design, and sourcing of the materials, painting murals, photography, T-shirt design, screen printing. I'll pretty much, if I want to do it, I'll say yes, even if I don't know what I'm doing. The whole fake it till you make it thing, because I have confidence in my abilities to do it. So that's what I've done up to this point.
Okay, so how did you get here in the first place to Japan, Sakai?
Japan. Like my ex-wife, who I met in India. Before I met her, I never really thought of going to Japan. I had been interested in ukiyo-e, which is I saw the Seattle Asian Art Museum, and I thought it was just awesome. It was kind of similar to comic books, which I liked, and graffiti. It had a really graphic element to it, and that was the only thing I really thought about Japan. I never thought about going to Japan. So then after I met her, yeah, the first time was to come visit her. That was it.
All right, and then how did you start getting into the creative space out here? Like you said, you do logo designs,
Yeah.
Murals, teas. How did that all manifest?
It's something that's been in me since I was a kid. So I've always liked to draw. I've always liked to make things. I've always liked to take photos. So it wasn't anything that came up new. You know, it's always there. I was always trying to make it as an artist when I lived in Seattle as well. And then when I first came here, I spoke no Japanese. So by default, you're an English teacher, right? They're like, oh, you speak English, you're a teacher. Like, okay. And I knew that after a while that was just kind of Groundhog's Day. I felt like, it's like, oh, it's the same thing again, you know? And so I just started searching for something else to do, right? Something to create, something to make to get me out of that. And it's actually it's kind of interesting, the capper that got me to really jump out, because it's kind of scary, right? To quit when you live in a country that, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what I'm doing. This dude who I worked with at Nova in Kishiwada, his name's Gary. Hi, Gary, you're probably not watching this, but he was like 65 then, like, 8 years ago. And he was an old hippie from San Francisco. And he lives in Japan, works like part-time at Nova, lives in the house with his in-laws, doesn't speak any Japanese. His son told him, I'm not going to speak any more English, Dad, when he started elementary school. So he's just trapped in Japan. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to be you.
The guy's being trapped.
Yeah, and he was like, don't be me. And I was like, I won't. And so I was like, all right, I got to quit. I got to do something
Make
else.
that jump.
And then my grandmother on my mom's side, which her.
Oh, hell yeah. Hold on.
So-
Back that up. Back it all up. Yeah,
So she was basically on her deathbed in 2012.
Yeah.
And so I flew back to the States to be with my family. And like I told you before, I'm the oldest of 29 cousins. So the family's huge. So we were all in, the house that my mom grew up in, like every day a little bit earlier drinking. Like it started, we'd wait till noon, and then it was like 11, and then it was 10, and just kind of just being there with my family. And that just inspired me. It was like from America. I don't know. I sent an email or I called. I quit from America. I called Nova. I was like, give me my notice. Like I'll work out, whatever it is the next month or whatever you need me to do, but I'm done. So didn't know what I was going to do after that, but that was what pushed me out.
A question, I mean, in the business sense, I know, so Viva La Mort is a registered business in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that process about? Getting the business up?
It was really easy.
Oh.
I didn't do it right off the bat because I'm pretty fluid in the way I do things. It's like you said, I don't even think I was uncomfortable quitting. I think I feel good. I'm like, whew, what's next? I kind of like chaos a little bit.
Okay.
Not madness and not pain and destruction, but if stuff gets too regimented, I don't really like it. I'm like, oh, can we mess this up a little bit? So we finally registered the business last year. Went to the city office with my wife. Took like 10 minutes. I don't remember if we had to pay anything. Maybe it was like 4,000 yen or nothing.
Oh,
They're like, you're done.
Because you're married, of course.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got the marriage visa.
Yeah, so I have a permanent residency.
Ah.
Yeah, so I don't even have a visa. I've had the Eiju since for 10 years or so.
Tell me, what was the inspiration with this piece? Now, for me, I'm looking at your art, man. It's very like yin and yang, spiritual, or you put meaning into your art. Everything comes from something.
Sure.
So what
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's not so deep, but I'm spiritual for sure, but I'm not religious at all. But I've always, especially the ancient stuff, it's always interesting to me, and I don't know. I have some affinity for it. And then for me, growing up in the 80s with hip hop and graffiti and all that, I feel like I just want to not really protect it. Sounds a bit kind of like protecting hip hop, but kind of where I feel like graffiti and murals and street art has progressed past hip hop, which is cool. It's but I think a lot of people who write or paint don't have a connection to the roots of hip hop. So for me, it's basic, it's stereotypical in some ways, but I love like the Kazals and the fat gold chains. So it's the B-boy Buddha. So it's part me, it's part history, it's fun, but it also has some depth in it. I like when people think about it, whatever you think it is, like that's what it is, because I don't have a hard definition.
Like, what's the process of making something like this? Like, how long does it take?
The hardest part is usually just the concept, like the idea. So if it's something just for me, it just comes out, right? Somehow I'll just come up with an idea, and if I feel like it's worth it, then I'll sketch it first, right? Usually sketch with pencil and then rough pen it in, and then I would color it with pens just to get a rough idea of the colors. Lately, I got an iPad about a year ago, so I'll still start sketches in like my black book, like again protecting the culture. So I still have a black book. Yeah, man.
Oh,
Always.
So dope.
It's just it's good to have like something tangible that you can go back and look on the sketches. But now, so like I'll sketch in the black book, rough ink that in, and then I'll take a picture and then into the iPad, and then I can play with colors a little bit there. But that's fast. It's nothing's finished then. And then the wall itself, I think this took me like maybe 5 or 6 hours, maybe. So yeah, just from probably had a picture on my phone, or maybe I brought my book in that day. I don't remember, but just look at the sketch and then eyeball it from there.
Show us one of your graphic prints.
Okay.
One of your latest.
So yeah, this shirt is just inspired through a conversation with a dude that he said this word himitsukichi that I'd never heard before, which means secret base. So I just wanted to this is my image, my imagination of what this place is to me in some way. So that's this. There's a lighthouse that's about 5 minutes that way on foot. It's the oldest wooden lighthouse in Japan, and so it's just my idea of if there was a secret base in there, you could go inside and go down, chill out, listen to music. There's a DJ there, nice washlet, a hot tub, and the Jamaican sound system, beer fridge, just a place to chill out.
So is that pretty much how all your designs come about? Because you just showed also a picture of your grandmother.
Yeah, it's always different. The grandma is cool. It's connected to the story at home, where the day that she actually passed away, all the family was there. It was evening time, and the people came in to wheel her out of her bedroom because she wanted to stay at home. She was in hospice, didn't want to go to the hospital, and so wheeled her out, and spontaneously all the family lined there's a walkway from the front door to the street, and everyone had lined the walkway with like drinks. One of my cousins brought out a boombox and had it was Frank Sinatra, like "Come Fly With Me" playing on the boombox, and as they wheeled her out, put her in the car, and I think one of my cousins said like, "Man, that was awesome," and my uncle was like, "Yeah, it was, but what do we do now?" And my another aunt was like, "Stay awesome." It was just like, and it just kind of clicked, yeah. And so I was like, I'm gonna draw that, and that picture is actually from an old frame. I think her and my grandpa went to Italy and sometime in the 80s, so her hair is really 80s, like that little bouffant style, and yeah, so that was really personal, right? That one. So I think they're all different. I mean, this, for instance, I drew last spring when shit was going nuts in America, and I just wanted to do something to help, and everything, all the profits from these shirts, I donated to this place in Oakland, California, called Speak Out Speakers, and it's just it's like non-denominational place to just motivate people.
What about Kansai and about Sakai is it for you, or really speaks to you, or is this just the place you just ended up and it's just become home?
Yeah, I mean, it is that. I'm here by default. Like, I didn't choose Sakai. It just kind of chose me. But again, I'm in the belief that the steps that I took and the path that I put myself on put me here. I'm not like, oh, I'm trapped in Sakai or whatever. But I love in Sakai itself, the old culture is cool. Like, there's a lot of history in Sakai that even Japanese people don't know. That was one thing, teaching English, that things would come up and I would be telling, 70-year-old Japanese people stuff they didn't know about Sakai. And they're like, whoa. So that's deep history here, and especially around here, around this port area, it's pretty bohemian, I think. That's especially if you came here at nighttime and saw like the bar across the street going and the music, and it's just a cool little kind of community of people that the roots of that, there's this place called Inukichi. Okay. That's it's a little izakaya. It's one of the first places that I went to in Japan. The dude built it off the side of his house like 27 years ago or something now. Yeah, and coming from America and working in restaurants and bars, when I walked in there, it was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, grease dripping from the hood, and just like, there's no laws here, is there? It's like, I thought Japan was all strict and really regimented society. But this guy, Yanchan, he has this crew called the Sakaians. That's like Hawaiians, but in Sakai. But through him, I met musicians like that married couple I told you before, Emo. Them musicians, people who make furniture, people who are sushi chefs or bars or just like people who make clothing, all kinds of stuff. Through him was this like interesting tight-knit community in Sakai. So it's really localized though. And then Kansai and Osaka itself, I feel, is like you guys mentioned before, it's rootsy, right? And it's real. It's one of those places that I don't know exactly where to compare it to in the States, but it's not a place that people are like, I'm going to go to Osaka and make it. It's just like, you're from here, right? Most of the people you meet. Yeah. And it's just, but not a snootiness. It's not like, I'm from Osaka. Like, you don't get that kind of bullshit. It's just real, So I dig that about Osaka, and good food. It's a cool place, and it's big, but not at all. Like, you bump into people that you see the same people all the time, especially with the way the train networks work. Like, that's how I met my wife, dude, is we were at Sakai Station almost every day, same time, same position, waiting for the same train, because she used to work in Namba as well. And finally, I was just like, I'll let you out, and then went from there. Yeah, right? So,
yeah. People I hear often describe Osaka as it's big city, small town
Mhm.
vibes, right?
Yeah.
So,
I feel that for sure.
Viva La Mort, it's been here for 8 years, right?
Yeah, the shop will be 8 years in I finished building it in June 8 years ago.
mm,
The first shirt I made will be 9 years this fall.
Where do you want to take Viva La Mort? Where do you see it going? What do you want to express to the people?
Huh.
good tough
Question.
questions.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for me, I honestly, the phrase, the saying, keep on trucking. I've always loved that. And I feel like that's all I'm doing. Like I'm just going to keep going. And if I can stay on this path, I feel like it's just going to keep going up, right? I mentioned to you guys briefly before that I feel like it's a dream to be able to draw and to paint and create stuff. And I'm like, I'm paying my rent. I'm getting money to do what I love is amazing. So if I could do more big paintings, that's what I want to do. If I could do 4 or 5 like whole buildings a year, it's enough to live on. And then everything else is extra, and to keep like honing skills and to keep building and keep meeting people. So
I got one more now. So one more question. So people coming to Japan and maybe they think about Kansai, like, so I think it's good to know that you can be in Japan
Mhm.
and you can still do what you love.
Sure.
Right? And you can actually, would you agree that you can be here and go after something that's important to you and still make it enough to get through life?
yeah, I think so. I mean, and I think you could do that anywhere though. I think if someone, like people like you, or people, if you have belief in something, if you have passion in what you do, then of course you're going to do it. It's almost, again, there's no choice, right?
Gotta do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just for me. Sometimes I wish like I went to university and got some job but when I think back, I really don't, So like, yeah, man, I've had a lot of fun with my life, and I feel like I'm grateful for every day that I'm here. And I just took a long time for me to get this way, but now I got to do something every day. It's very rare that I have a zero do nothing day. Sometimes I'll let myself do that, but just got to make something, right? Do something.
Keep on trucking.
Exactly.
Keep on
Yeah.
trucking. Eric, it's been an absolute pleasure, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.